is it better to use mic or is it better to talk this way?
This way.
Mike, back here is
Mike. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like the back. Is it too big for the front people? Is it okay? Hi, how are you? This is Christy from Hana Tax. I've been working for the tax and accounting fields for 12 years, having dealing with multinational companies' tax and accounting issues. Yeah, not for only big conglomerates, but also one-man business consulting firms, or a small restaurants, or franchise business. So the topic taxes, sometimes could be boring. So I sometimes encourage people to raise their hands to ask about what curious part you have, because the tax for IT business, the tax for internet business, the tax for franchise business, restaurant business, all different. I think later there will be a course for the special sections. But today I will cover the very general part and also tax tips. What is the best way to save tax and have your net margins effectively? Okay. I'm not only going to follow the material, because my friend said that a lecturer who's not giving good lecture always stick to the presentation material. So I want to follow by topics. So I might move back and forth, so I would need your attention on that. If you don't mind, can you come up with this part? I think it's about 6th or 7th page. Yeah, I'm sorry for not putting this in the first part. So So the taxes relevant to foreigners that they face the most is most of them who have corporate will face corporate income tax, and the rate is 11%, including the surtax. So the corporate income tax is 10%, but everybody needs to pay surtax. It's named resident tax, but it doesn't mean you don't need to pay tax because you're a foreigner. So the corporate net, when the net income is below 200 million, the tax rate is 11%. And when the net income is over 200 million, the net income is 22%. That's when you open a corporate. When you open a private company, sole proprietorship, it's same rate as salary income tax rate. So this is for private companies, 6.6% to 38.5%. So without the surtax, it's 6.2 to 35%. So people ask me a lot, Christy, so is it beneficial to open a corporate or open a private company? Depending on the bracket, if your net income will be smaller, of course 6% is beneficial. But as your income grows a lot, the highest tax rate it can be is 22%, while the personal company can be as far as 38.5%. So, okay?
So the corporate income tax and the salary income tax are separate. If you open a corporation, you don't pay a salary income tax?
Yeah, the corporate itself is a separate entity, so corporate pays corporate income tax. But as a CEO, if I have salary income from the corporate, I need to pay salary income tax. Yes. But if I go, but I guess there will be some people whose who haven't decided whether to go for corporate, whether to go for a personal company, sole proprietorship. So I think there is critical issues, not only for tax issues, but if I only talk about the tax and legality, yeah, corporate, it takes a long time only to do the register because it needs to register with the court. And then company registration is released, and you need to do the paperwork, such as preparing board of directors meetings, shareholders meetings, and list of shareholders, an article of incorporation. So the documentary work, the corporate, yeah, it takes more time. But the public image, corporate is better. But because of the documentary work, even though I change one thing in the company registration, let's say I move to the next door, and then I need to redo, and then actually not redo, revise the court registration and business registration. So corporate, the paperwork costs a lot. But personal company is very easy. The president of the company visits the tax office, show his ID card, fill out the simple application form. They release it almost the same day for revise. Yeah. And good thing about private company's bank account details does not have to be strictly tracked with every single line. What it means is if I have a private company, a private company, and Christy is the owner, I can input my money in the company and withdraw the money from the company without much restrict. Because in Korea, the private company is regarded same as the president. So I'm just moving the money from right pocket to the left pocket, so there isn't much thing to worry about. But the corporate, they think corporate have a public responsibility. So for the corporate, I cannot withdraw even though I'm the 100% shareholder. I can withdraw by dividend or salary income or by loan from the company. So in a legal way. So every transaction from the corporate needs to be explained. Yeah. Yes?
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
If you invest 50 million Korean won into a sole proprietorship,
Right.
then isn't the 50 million won the property of the company then? Or you just mentioned that whatever money's in the company could be the president's money.
Right. So, anybody have the same experience? How they managed the investment fund? Okay. So, 50 million, how long does it have to be locked in the company?
Just for 1 year.
Okay, there is some opinion 1 year, and what does other people have?
As long you just need to show the certificate that you on the bank that you have it, and then after that it's gone. Doesn't matter.
Yes. Actually, in principle, they say 50 million can be withdrawn with business purpose. As far as it's related with business, you can withdraw. Yeah. But even though, let's say that I withdraw it because of my little bit personal use and then put it again, it wouldn't be a big matter for a sole proprietorship. Yeah. But for a corporate, we call it deemed interest. If I withdraw the money, I need to pay to the company the deemed interest, which is about 8%. So the corporate is really a separate entity. Was there any person raising it? Thank you.
This is a completely separate question. What's the withholding tax on whatever income comes in for a sole proprietorship?
Withholding tax is very broad meaning. Could you specifically mention in which case withholding tax you mean?
For example, if I set up a consulting company as a sole proprietorship and I received like 100 million won as a consulting revenue.
I see.
Do I have to set aside a certain amount of withholding?
Yeah. Yeah, to answer that, I need to make a lot of cases, so this is pretty deep question. Yeah. So let's say that I open a consulting firm named Christie Consulting Firm as sole proprietorship. I did the business with overseas company, and then the overseas company can pay me the lump sum amount. If I did the business with another Korean B2B business in inland, I need to prepare the tax invoice, 세금 계산서. Are you aware about the 세금 계산서? This is what I will cover in the value-added tax part. Yeah. And between the company to company, I need to charge additional 10%, and so 10% is the value-added tax I need to charge when I do the business-to-business, inland business-to-business transaction. If I pay the freelancer, there the withholding income tax arises. So it's not company to company, but I have a friend who's giving me consulting, but she doesn't have a registered company. She works as a freelancer, and then I need to deduct 13% before I pay her. So it's usually 3.3%. So if she provided services to me, I pay her 96.7%. And I withhold 3.3%, and then I pay it to the government under her ID number. So the government will know, oh, Alice earned certain amount in certain year, so yeah, that she is tax liable.
And then at the end of the year, then she pays the difference depending on her tax bracket?
Right. So, depending on her other incomes, she needs to do the yearly tax return. Okay?
B2B, you said additional 10%. What is that form?
The tax invoice? That's called 세금 계산서.
세금 is tax and 계산서 is what?
세금 계산서. It's like goods and service tax. Yeah, very similar to goods and service tax in overseas. Yeah, when there is a transaction between the company to company, they need to release the tax invoice. But these days, no, we don't use paper invoices anymore. We are in the transformation of converting to electronic invoice. Okay. So many companies will face corporate income tax or personal income tax or salary income tax and value-added tax. As I mentioned, most of the products are 10%, but some of them are 0%. It's when I export product, there is no VAT involved.
And the example of a foreign entity providing you consulting revenue, there's zero value-added tax?
Yeah, there's zero value-added tax. But they can withhold some of my tax. But, very good question. It depends on double taxation agreement. A lot of McDonald's are in Korea. What's famous in Korea? Let's say that I opened Miss Lee Chicken and have some firms in United States, and then I can receive royalty for that. How much percent the United States will pay me, and how much percent they will withhold as royalty income tax depends on Korea-USA double taxation agreement. Yeah. So above all, the DTA supersedes the below 3. But DTA does not come to usually small businessmen. It goes to recently I've been consulting to LG. They face this DTA problem. So for some big firms, when they have loyalty issues or dividend issues, they can face this. So how much do I pay as my salary income tax? Many people will be curious about how much I pay my salary income tax. There is a big table saying that simplified tax withholding table. This morning I had a meeting with my German client, and he said there is very similar system back in Germany also. So there is a big, huge table from what is the minimum salary. It starts could be 0 to a very big salary. I made example of 2 million. And then if I have no other dependent or spouse I can claim, my monthly tax will be 22,000.
The box number 1.
Yeah, box number 1, that's right.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't understand.
Yeah. So my salary is between 2 million to 2.01 million. Then my monthly tax will be 22,000. So this simplified tax withholding table can be easily found in National Tax Service website. So you can check if your company is deducting you more tax than necessary. If I have a lot of dependents, my tax goes down. Yeah, I think it's worldwide. So if I have,
Sorry, does this site has English version?
It does. There's a book in English. You can get the full tax book and all the regulations in English.
Where?
You can get it, I think at the GU office. Is that right, Christy? Have you seen that English book?
Actually, in the website, this number, since you heard my lecture, I think you can, even though this part is in Korean, I think you can easily check the but I will leave my name card later on here. If you send email to me, I can send this Excel file to you. If I have one dependent or my spouse is not working, then I pay less tax. If I have 3 people, including myself, that means myself and non-working spouse and 1 child, and then I pay lower tax. But what is the difference between 1 child and 2 children? I think this system is a pretty recent system. I think about 3 years from now. The government is encouraging people to have a lot of children in Korea. So instead of taking care of non-working spouse and parents, if I have 2 children as dependent, my tax is lower. It's same two dependents, but if it's my children, my tax goes lower. Yeah. And then it could be even more lower. I thought it was fun.
What's the difference between 3 and 4?
Yeah. So 4 people, including myself, but how the rest 3 people is composed of? Is it composed with 1 child or less than 1 child? I pay a little bit more tax. If the rest 3 people is composed with a lot of children, then I pay less tax. So during the year when I receive my salary, the company withholds my tax depending on the simplified table. And then once a year they do the tax reconciliation. Did you do your salary income tax reconciliation on this February? How many people faced it?
What's that? North Korea.
And you know about the sad news, no more 30% tax exemption?
No, I didn't hear.
Didn't? How many foreigners are aware about that?
20%.
It used to be 30%.
Can you explain what's the current situation?
It's a sad news. Until end of 2009, from total tax, from total salary amount, 30% can be treated as non-taxable income.
For foreigners.
Yeah, for foreigners. So Ms. Lee received salary 2 million. Christy, a foreigner, received salary 2 million. My tax base is 2 million. Her tax base is 1.4 million. So she paid much less tax up to year 2009. But that favor ended.
What happens now?
So during the year, they pay same tax as Korean citizens. Yeah. Last time I gave this lecture, and then one foreigner raised his hand, what is the compensation from Korean government? So I was stuck in the middle. And then
So
the
they
other,
just eliminated the tax rebate for foreigners.
yeah. So that 30% exemption ended by last year.
So there's no replacement for that anymore?
Yeah, no
It's
replacement.
flat 15 now.
Flat 15?
Yeah. So the flat rate was existing for a long time, so no more 30% exemption. So during the year, whether her nationality is Korean or not, the tax is same now.
Well, I'm getting out of here.
Because it was a huge amount. It was
I'm
huge
getting out of here. I
benefit.
didn't know.
It was huge benefit. But
The flat 15, there are
Right.
no deductions, right?
Yeah.
Zero deductions.
that's right.
So we're Korean?
Pretty much.
So we knew that the government announced 10 years ago that it is until end of 2007, and then they extended 2008, and then they extended till 2009. So we were expecting it will be extended, but there was no presidential decree. Usually they extend it, but no more extension. So during
Lee Myung-bak is responsible for that?
Yeah.
Presidential degree. I'm just asking.
I'm afraid of the video.
Well, it's a valid question. It's not like, it's not like you're lying about anything. It's actually, you're just telling the facts.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Next.
Yeah. So during the year, as I mentioned, they say pay same tax, but at the year end, the Korean Ms. Lee needs to do the reconciliation based on if it's 2.4 million, she will do the reconciliation based on, as I mentioned in February, the company might have asked you, please provide your medical expense, your donation expense, your housing expense. Provide if you pay to the like government donation, or what kind of insurances you paid. And then, since during the year they did it simplifiedly, if I have the salary, even though I have the same salary with my friend, if I had a lot of expense used and credit card usage, and then I will get my tax back. But for foreigners, they have the benefit still. They can choose the flat rate. Flat rate. As we saw here, the tax rate is 6.6% to 38.5%, but foreigners have the option to choose the 16.5%. So 15%. Yes?
Do you know what the threshold is when
Which one is beneficial?
better.
Right.
the amount?
Yeah. So 16.5% is beneficial if you usually earn about 150 million per year. Yeah. If you're below it, the progressive rate is better. In other words, if your salary is below that, your tax will be mostly same with other Koreans.
I have a similar question to ask about on the previous page. What's the break-even point?
Oh, yeah, here, the last part, right?
Between the corporate tax of 11% and, yeah.
Oh, 200 million is the
No,
threshold.
I know, but where would be the break-even point between this one, between should I set up a corporation or should I do personal? Is there, do you know the break-even point?
I would say 200 million. Yeah. If I expect my net income to be about 200 million, then I think going corporate is tax beneficial. Right. But it's not really easy it might be easy to have some assumption on your revenue, but it's not very easy to make assumption on the net income. So not only you need to consider the tax rate, but maybe public image, or which one is beneficial to use the company bank account. Yeah, that could be considered.
I just wanted to add to that. I think we heard it from one of the other lecturers. They said that if you choose the option of becoming a sole proprietor, a private company first, and then converting to corporate tax later is not necessarily a big issue. You can easily do that. So if you wanted to start out just to be safe, as a sole proprietorship, and maybe that's what you should do first, and then when you break even for yourself, you can move forward.
Right, but that's also an option. Right.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned, even establishment fee, the corporate costs a lot. So if you want to start small and you can't predict how long it will be stable, maybe going to private company at the beginning stage could be better. Yes?
How much is the punishment if you don't pay taxes?
Oh, how much is the punishment? To the point, very much to the point. Yeah. But it's almost the first time that I received that question. After my lecture, one foreigner raised his hand and said, "Christy, I'm not interested in all that. Just give me how can I get tax credit, how can I get tax free? Only with those things why don't you do the lecture?" So yeah, So the penalty is actually there is two kinds of penalty. If I mistakenly missed filing tax or I did it intentionally.
I may say that I missed it non-intentionally.
Yeah. Then about 20% of your sales amount. Or 0.7% of the tax I should have paid. Yeah. 0.7% of the tax I should have paid is the penalty.
And how much percent is the tax? Sorry.
Of the tax rate?
Yes.
So the tax rate is all shown here.
11 or 20?
Yeah. Or if it was VAT, then 10%.
So the penalty is added to this percent or included?
Oh, added. And what if late payment? I'll let you know about the late payment. Because late payment, there shouldn't be too much penalty, right? Because of my shortage of financial status, I paid 2 days late. If they give too much penalty, it wouldn't be fair. So so they tax office charge some interest rate for late payment. It's 3 over 10,000 per day. So 0.03% per day. Late payment penalty.
Say that again.
Late payment penalty is about 0.03% per day. So it's pretty small amount if you, yes?
What's
what's the tax rate for foreign companies with branches in Korea, but they're not registered?
They're not registered?
No, they're registered, but their head offices are elsewhere. But they just have, like operations.
Right.
What would the scenario be?
Yeah. For salaries, foreigners have benefit. If you have a branch or subsidiary, there is no tax benefit. So, in other words, same as Korean company, the tax rate here is 11% or 22%.
So it's flat tax?
Yes, 11% below 200 million and 22% above 200 million. Yes.
If you get money from Korean, sellers,
Uh-huh.
if it comes from abroad, I think you don't pay taxes in Korea.
Actually, if it's earned from abroad, it's not easy to track back. Yeah, but if it is tracked back, from the revenue we need to deduct the expenses, and from the net income we need to pay tax. Yeah. But if the revenue is not belonging to Korean company, of course there's no tax. So how the tax plans and strategies are made need to be carefully decided. I also prepared about the branch office and subsidiary. I don't think it will be a big interest if you're going for SMEs, but is there any people that would be interested? Maybe I want to bring a big company in subsidiary or branch office. Does people want to know about that?
May you explain the difference?
Yes, sure. Sorry to make you turn. Yeah. So I think this is almost the very last page. A foreign company wants to come to Korea, but they don't want to pay tax. They want to start small, only want to do the market research and do the auxiliary work and preparatory work. And then it's none of these. It's called liaison office or representative office. Yeah. They shouldn't do any sales work. So the tax office always precisely take care of it, whether they do any sales activity. So liaison office or representative office pays no tax in Korea. They don't pay any VAT tax. They don't pay any corporate income tax. But if they hire someone and pay them salary, the employee needs to pay salary income tax. So that's different. Do you want me to come again? Or clear? Okay. But a foreign company wants to go to Korea and have some revenue and make sales. They can forget about branch or subsidiary, and I can just open a small sole proprietorship, right? It's simple. But if let's say I'm a Singaporean and doing the semiconductor business, I came to Korea to open a sole proprietorship. That means it's not legally connected with my headquarters. Right? It's just a sole proprietorship. I'm the owner of the company, that's it. But if I want to have some legal connect with the headquarters, I can go with branch office or subsidiary. Okay.
No, I don't want to interrupt.
Okay, then I gotta go first. Okay. Subsidiary needs capital amount, while branch office does not need any capital amount. So we can say subsidiary is a Korean company, but related with foreign entity. While branch office is just a foreign company that having place in Korea. That's why this Korean company have invested capital and branch office have no invested capital. But branch office is easy to send back the money because it's, as I told, like a foreign company having a business place in Korea. So it's easy to send the money back to the headquarters if it's a branch office. Yeah. I handled New Zealand branch office, and then I went to the bank. All they requested is Korean financial statement. They said as far as Korean company is showing good profit in Korea, I can send the money to the headquarters without difficulties. But if I go for foreign subsidiary, I need to go through some legal process like dividend. And the head,
You're talking about incorporated companies,
Right.
stock companies, right?
it doesn't have to be stock listed.
No, it doesn't have to be listed on the exchange, but
Yeah, stock, yeah, shareholder and stock.
I'm talking like large companies.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So.
Is the tax treatment different if the revenue is from overseas, a Korean company, just revenue from overseas?
The tax rate is same. Tax rate is same.
But they can't always track the money from overseas.
Yes. But that's more related with the banking system and how the tax offices, the IT system is smart enough to track all the transactions. So it's developing. I cannot say everything is revealed.
Just to check, I have heard that if it's a subsidiary of a foreign company in Korea, getting income from outside of Korea. So the subsidiary doesn't pay taxes on this income in Korea.
If it belongs to Korea, then all the worldwide income needs to be paid in Korea.
But it's subsidiary of a foreign company.
Yes, still needs to pay tax in Korea. Yeah. Maybe we can communicate more in email. Yeah. Okay.
In this case, is it also easy to convert, or can you convert the two?
Oh yeah, between two, right?
Yeah.
Since this needs capital amount, this does not need capital amount, and this is deemed as foreign company, while this is deemed as Korean company. Usually, yes, some companies start small, start like foreign branch office, and then go to foreign subsidiary. Yeah, that's true. But however, I need to pay a lot of legal fee, and there will be paperwork. So if I plan to convert it, I think it's better to start with subsidiary. Right.
And how? You said it needs capital income, right?
Yeah.
Is there
initial
a
capital
minimum amount that it must have to operate as
a foreign subsidiary? Yeah. They usually, to be admitted as foreign investment corporate, to have foreign investment certificate, 50 million is the minimum amount. But yeah, there are some. Yeah, but not all the company have to go for foreign investment certificate. Yeah. Even though I'm a foreigner having a company in Korea, if I don't have to worry about visa issue, I want to start small, I can even start a company with 1 million. Not all the foreigners have to go for foreign investment procedure.
Other than visa, are there any other benefits of doing FDI versus
Yeah, very good
non-FDI?
question.
There's tax.
Yeah. The tax rate or those things doesn't have much credit because of foreign direct investment.
But we saw in previous lecture that depending on the percentage of the share we hold of the company, we get either 50 or 30% of
Yeah,
rebate
that's
tax.
when you move to local area. There's many conditions that needs to be met. Yeah, or if I have a lot of manufacturing line, because Korean government is happy that you're going to have a lot of employment through that. then there's a lot of tax credits on that. But only because of FDI, the tax rate doesn't differ a lot. Yeah.
What about companies supporting high-tech sectors? Because there is also, if you have a consulting company helping Korean high-tech companies going abroad, you can get tax benefits as well, even if you're a small company and located anywhere in Korea.
Right.
Yes, I'm not exactly sure how to ask my question. I'm a little confused, but I just want to go back to what you mentioned about the option of not necessarily having to have a certificate, the certificate that you were speaking of.
FDI.
Yeah. Were you still talking about other companies that would still be able to operate under that legal, operate under as a foreign subsidiary, or are you just speaking in terms of still, you can also choose becoming a branch?
Yeah. Even to have a subsidiary, if my target is not for FDI, and then it could be smaller amount.
Okay, if you're not targeting
for FDI, right. So yes, some of my clients who's composed with F4 visa people, they established a company with 1 million without any difficulty. Okay, we'll have 10-minute break. I will leave my name cards here, so if you're interested, you can pick it up.
Oh yeah, I scared him away.
A tax not supposed to be transferred easy. I just
How many? Because the truth is
go to sleep. They have lectures, but you're the side I stay.
So are you ready?
Yes. Yes.
Did you have a nice break?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming to my lecture. Right? It's a kind of drizzling today, and sometimes concentrating from 7 to 9. It's not easy. I see so many people with enthusiasm. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So we have really limited time, and the first part of my presentation materials were mainly for non-residents who came to Korea for a short time, whether they should pay tax. But I think many people who comes to Seoul Global Center is already residents. Yeah. What's the difference? How can I determine residents or non-residents? It can be simply about if I stay 6 months in one calendar year, or my intention is to stay more than 6 months, then I'm a resident in Korea.
Is it any difference between different type of business? Let's say, is the Korean government encouraging people to go toward more, let's say, high-tech businesses, and is it in the tax benefits?
Yes, that's right.
So what businesses are?
Yeah. Usually for high technology business, they give sometimes 5-year tax free. Yeah. One of my German clients said that they have very high technology. They did the web design for BMW, and they have a 3 dimensions, some kind of the car is moving, and I don't know very deep about their business, but for them they had 5-year tax free. Yeah. Or if you go to some kind of local places like Busan, Chine, Chine is a place near Busan, there's like free economic zone. Yeah, and if you have to have like hire over 100 people and have some manufacturing line, and then they give the tax benefits. But it's really difficult for SMEs to go with such a kind of business field.
Very high tech, is it?
Right. So I thought in the break, I thought instead of sticking to my presentation material, I had some few queries. One was, how can I save my tax? Save my tax was a big issue. And then how to register non-profit organization. And so I can cover those two. Is there any other topics that you will be interested? And then one person raised their hand and said that there is a prize called tax payment honorary prize. That there was some system like from National Tax Service. He said that one guy said that while he is in country manager, if his company get that prize, he said I will be promoted. How can I get the prize? Yeah. So so I think not many people will be interested in the non-residents. So I will give you some tips on how to save tax. So I can briefly cover for two types of saving taxes. One is for salary income tax. I guess you would do the reconciliation in February, next year February. I want to get a lot of tax refund. What is the tip?
Spend money.
Yes, that's basically correct, to spend money. And the second one is as a company. How can I pay less corporate tax or individual tax? Some people feel burdened to collect receipts. Is that the case for many of you? Christy, I came here by taxi. I don't want to request for receipts, and he didn't seem to be happy, so I didn't collect tax. But collecting receipt is the first step to reduce all your taxes. Because otherwise, the tax office would not know how much expense you had.
What about if you use your like check card? And you know, like with check cards, the bank keeps track of like all your purchases, right? Would that be a substitute for
yes,
receipts?
That's right. Instead of tracking all the small, simple daily receipt, if you collect the monthly statement, that's a good substitute.
Okay.
Doesn't the bank also send you what do you call it? Something to file your taxes. They give you your taxable income from your bank statements too.
Yeah,
right?
once a year, I think they say your yearly report. Right.
Exactly.
But in the yearly report, in my case, they say in January how much you spent, in February how much spent, instead of detailed breakdown. But detailed breakdown is useful. But sometimes in the detailed breakdown, not all, everything are related with the company. Let's say that some of the expenses are my really personal expense, like medical expense. Some of the expenses, as a business owner, I bought the company furniture. So in my credit card list, it could be mixed up together. So I need to classify it very carefully. And many of you would have heard about 현금 영수증, right? Cash credit card. When I asked it for the tax office, it looked ugly with blue color. But I think they changed the design, looking very nice. So even though I pay by cash, I can ask them, to give 현금 영수증. It's cash card. Yeah. And then they released very similar receipts looking as credit card receipts. And then these are all deductible.
Can you write the
They have this-
In Korean or in English? In Korean? Yeah. So I had lunch was 5,000, and then give this to them, and they will release the receipts. Ask the restaurant owner to 현금 영수증 주세요. They will know what you want.
But I heard that card can register directly to the tax.
Right. So this information goes to tax office.
So we don't need to keep the receipt.
Right. So using this is very effective to deduct your business expense.
Please forgive me. Can you tell me just briefly again what you said this cash card was?
Okay. When I pay by credit card, it's very easy to get the receipt. When I pay cash, some restaurant owners, they say, okay, thank you. Right? Then I release my cash card, say, oh, please release 현금 영수증. And then they give you the 현금 영수증. And it has the same power as credit card receipt. So it's good to deduct the company expense. Or even my salary income tax reconciliation, it's good. So it's good to collect a lot of 현금 영수증.
But I heard, I tried that last year. I had a big cash receipt, and I asked for the receipt. And I thought that was automatically into the computer system. But at the end of the year, I found out that you have to go into the computer system and type in the number, the date, and all that stuff for each 현금 영수증.
Then there would be some problem. I don't think it's like that recently. Maybe that's in the beginning stage. Yeah, as you mentioned, usually it's automatically done. Maybe tax office has a problem with tracking the foreign ID number.
No, I had
Could
a
be
lot of
some
problems with
mistake
that.
from the system.
But some cards you need to go to the tax office and to register your card.
Oh, so one time I visited the tax office to get this, and then I don't need to visit them anymore. I visit the tax office and then they give this, and then there's a certain number, and then I register this number in the internet. So in the credit card, it doesn't say Alice, it doesn't say Christy, it doesn't say anything. They just have number, and then I did the registration online.
What if I'm working for a company and I have my company at the same time? So where is the tax deducted? On my income salary or on the company?
So in your credit card usage, some is for company and some is for your personal, right? And you want to know how it affects your tax. Right, good. In my credit card list, I had a lot of usage. I'm a salary income earner. Yeah, some amount I bought the company stationery. Some amount I had lunch with my family. Some amount I went to see the doctor. So this too is private. This is for the company. Yeah. In year-end tax reconciliation, right? The thing that you do in February, actually I should claim only private usage, right? But even though, so far, even though I claimed all, tax office couldn't track. Right. That is what happened.
Stop the tape.
That means you only get the benefit for your private means or for the company.
Yeah. So for the company, I get this reimbursed, right? I bought coffee for my company, and the president will pay me back. So it shouldn't be considered as my expense, but in the system still, even though I claim all the amount, all the total amount, that they wouldn't know so far. But they say you need to classify. They say you need to classify.
But you cannot claim it twice. I mean, you cannot claim it twice for private and for the company.
Yeah, you shouldn't, but so far the system is not perfect. I have 4 people right now. Okay, the lady over there first.
Okay, you said when you collected the cash card that you registered the number. So can you give us the website so that when we collect, you can register the number?
Oh, if you type this in any search engine, you can connect the website. Yeah. And I think the website name itself is Korean. Like 현금영수증.go.kr, something like that. Right. Next. Yes?
The cash card, is the same as tax safe card?
Tax safe card?
Yeah.
It's
the same.
Is it tax safe credit card?
Something like this. This.
Yeah, that's the same. You never used it?
That is
Yes, Kim.
So this one
is right there. And then it should use it for company says the name, right? You can get it under your name.
That's what it said.
So, are you your own? But you also have a card like this too? Do you also have a cash card?
So you can have 2 cards, one for the company and one for
So I was going to, this was only the first step to save tax. So and now I'm going to go to the real thing. Save salary income tax. Save corporate income tax. Yeah, saving salary, if you save your salary income tax, you'll have a lot of tax refund on February or March, and we name it salary of 13th month. Yeah. So many people is angry if my colleague get a lot of tax refund and I'm the only person who pays more. And so there was a very good comment. If you choose the flat rate, 15%, I don't need to prepare any receipt. There's no deduction available. But if I use the progressive rate, and then I can claim for expenses. I can claim for I will speak it loudly so people on the back side hear. Yeah, to save my salary income tax, if I have a lot of education expense, insurance expense, housing expense, medical expense, donation expense, credit card expense, and then I can get some refund. So I can say very personal expenses.
What do you mean by housing?
Yeah, housing, this is when I have a loan and mortgage and pay some interest.
How about for rent?
Yeah, not for rent. Unfortunately.
Well, that shouldn't be housing then.
Then what should I name it?
Mortgage. Mortgage interest. Mortgage interest. Only the interest, right?
Yes. Interest and some part of the principal payment back can be deducted. And this is not only for myself, but also for my dependents. If my children, I paid my tuition fee more for my children, it's also deductible. But if I go too deep, you will all fall asleep. Not all education expenses are feasible. Yeah, like foreign schools are not feasible. Foreign medical care is not also feasible. So these, if I go deep, it's very long.
학원비 for institute.
Huh?
학원비.
Yeah, 학원비 is for before going to school. Under 6, the children under 6, all 학원비 is deductible.
Oh, under 6 years old?
Yeah, small kids, 학원비 is deductible.
But not when they went to elementary school.
Right. After elementary school, the school tuition fee is deductible. And medical expenses for elderly and for disabled, the limitation is much higher. So for them, they give a lot of deduction.
The emergency ward is excluded from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Emergency.
Emergency?
Yeah.
Like what?
If you get into if you wipe out on a motorcycle, you go to an emergency ward. That can't be deducted.
For insurances like health insurance or for me or for my dependents or spouse, it's all deductible. Okay, so the easiest one is credit card, right? The easiest one is credit card. And as I mentioned, the cash card is one of the credit card.
Life insurance.
Yeah, it is possible. The life insurance is all possible.
Life, I mean, if you make investment with insurance company, everything is deductible.
Up to 1 million per year is
Per year.
deductible, right? But health insurance, the national health insurance or national pension is also deductible as insurance. So as I mentioned, credit card is the easiest one I can for many people can choose, right? Yeah, to be qualified as these, it's not always easy for every year. Yeah, so, yes?
Well, business trips, business lunches, things like this.
Those are for corporate income tax.
So as a small proprietorship, you can't claim those?
When I said corporate, it's including personal company.
Okay, things will be.
Yeah. So this is purely salary.
Question. If you pay yourself from dividends, so it's considered as a salary.
Dividend is different as salary.
Do you have any deductions as well?
Dividend is paid from the net earnings, so it's not deductible. Yeah. Dividend, the tax rate is about 15%. And then that's it. You don't need to add it to here again. Yes?
I have a question regarding excise taxes.
Uh-huh.
Are you going to cover that later, or can I ask that now?
Excise tax, I don't cover it.
Oh, you don't?
Because it's not related with everybody. I will be happy if you send email to me.
What is excise tax?
Because some of us are contemplating running a restaurant business, and you know there's a specific tax issues related to whether you have a room or whether you have singing or other forms of entertainment.
And usually,
quote unquote other forms of entertainment.
usually what you name like room salon, the tax they have is totally different. So for certain businesses, there are some special taxes for it.
For just a regular restaurant that serves like beer and stuff like that, but no singing or no rooms or anything like that, then you don't have to pay any excise tax.
But there's alcohol tax.
Even if you sell beer?
Yeah, there's alcohol tax. We call it 주류세, right? Because the alcohol is sold, some kind of tax is imposed in addition. And if you import luxury item, special taxes added up. So depending on the business field, there are many different taxes. Implication. Okay, so that was about the salary income tax. How about corporate to reduce my company income, company tax? Yes. Does anybody want to share their good tips on this?
Pay good salaries.
Good salaries. Yes, salaries could be a good expense of mine, but. Oh, look at myself.
Very high salary.
Yeah, the company makes a donation.
Yeah, the company can make the donation, but in Korean tax law, if the company is not profitable, even though they pay donation, it's not deductible because it's nonsense. But it could be forwarded.
Even if they give in-kind donations?
Oh, in-kind, transaction in-kind. Then actually we need to do the fair market value evaluation.
Yes. This one field of operation. Based on field of operation where you are in the company.
Right, that's right.
The best way is to pay all this from corporate account.
But the salary income tax, these are very personal, but this is very business-related expenses only.
But education for yourself you can pay from corporation.
Yes.
For example, we go for this one, we pay from company. Insurance, I think you have.
The insurance is not life insurance, but let's say the company building fire insurance can be deductible.
If an employee gets, if an employee's child gets some type of education subsidy from a company, I was told that that's part of salary, that's included in total salary.
Right.
And then you can right that off.
That's right. Your salary needs to be,
increased, and then you can deduct it by that much.
Correct.
So is there any software that we use to keep track of this?
Actually, there are some software program that could be bought. Actually, the software program I am using is Indeed. It needs a lot of knowledge. One of my clients asked if there is any dollar indicated software program. I couldn't find it with Korean written or English written, but there are some software program and one thing.
With English. Not dollar, but won with English.
I have no idea in English. I mean, some company use QuickBook. My client use QuickBook, and I heard that MyOB, Mind Your Own Book, is also a good program. In Korean, if you are good at Korean, then you can use 회계의 사랑. That means accounting lover. That's the program name. Really. It's the program name for SMEs.
Does your firm provide like accounting / tax services to small businesses, like entrepreneurships.
Right, right.
To deal with like payroll tax, payroll, and all that stuff.
Yes.
What type of fee do you charge?
There must be a flat.
Because I think for most of the people here, instead of doing it on your own, it's easier to just outsource it to a firm.
Right,
If the fee is reasonable.
Well, it actually, when we ask what will be your target sales of next year and how many employees you will have, and we need to know the business field, and then we can prepare our proposal. Right. Is that okay?
How about okay? So for example, less than 1 billion won in revenue, 3 employees. So basically a very small entrepreneurship. And what type of range are we talking about?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say those things, yeah, because...
We'll turn off the camera.
Of course, if
There's no picture right now.
if this class helps my business, I would be happy. But I'm not here actually to promote my business. So, yeah, maybe we can talk more by email. Privately.
If you do use a tax consulting service, how often per year do you have to meet with the CPA?
Yeah. So the most important taxes in Korea there are 3: salary income tax, and then value-added tax, and corporate income tax. So salary income tax is once a month. Value-added tax is once a quarter. Corporate income tax is once a year. So I would say about once a quarter to meet the CPA would be the average. But these days they usually give it by delivery or mail service. So there are some companies that I don't even see the people for 2 or 3 years.
When you have the taxes once a year or month?
Corporate income tax is once a year.
Fiscal year is always December for all companies?
No. For a private company, there is no option. For a private company, it's only calendar year. My business year is only calendar year. But for corporates, it's flexible. It could be 1st of July to end of June. Yeah, it could be what I choose.
If you don't make a certain amount of money, does it matter to the Korean government?
Very good question. Very good question. If I don't make certain amount of money, is it a problem with Korean government? I have some of my clients having dormant company. Actually, he filed for a dormant company because he said, he wanted to have a company, but later on he went to Thailand. And, Christy filed for a dormant company application for 1 year. So I filed it, and then he said, extension. And then the tax office was curious. Why do you open it then? So they asked it. But they don't start a tax audit just because I lose money. They don't do something like that. Yeah. So if it's reasonable, because of, let's say, the IT business is going down, so my sales dropped, it's reasonable. But tax is very much related with visa extension for D8 visa. I think many of you will already aware of that. Many of you will be already aware of it. If you go for immigration office, the tax record is one of the most important document they request. They ask for a tax clearance certificate. This means I don't owe any tax. And then they request for tax payment certificate. That shows my record of the company. So this 2 document is critical for my visa extension. Of course, if tax clearance certificate, if it shows 0, it's better because it means I have no tax due. Tax payment certificate, if it shows good records, I am unhappy, but the tax office is happy. And also the immigration office think their business is growing. So in immigration office's point of view, they are usually happy when the company grows gradually. Yes?
So I guess you have to file for taxes every year if you have a company.
Yes.
Even if you have no income.
Then you file new report.
But you have to file.
Right.
Is there a minimum tax payment in that case?
No. It could be 0.
Even for a corporation?
Right. Yes. So to get extension of D8 visa, it's different with the tax audit or anything. The immigration office would like to see the number growing. Yes.
So I was told that cumulative losses can carry 4 or 5 years.
Right.
So that's taxed at the tax level of that year that you make profit.
Yeah. It was 5 years until 2009. From the operating loss happened from 2010, it's 10 years. It could be carried forward for 10 years. His query was net operating loss could be carried forward for 10 years. And also can be carried back for 2 years. Carry forward 10 years, carry back 2 years.
If I could just share my personal experience. In 2006, I got a D8 visa because I was a student at a Korean university and I wanted to work legally. And so my income was very low because I didn't work very much. And the tax service, they're very kind and friendly people to deal with. But immigration treated me like a criminal because I didn't show that I was making money in Korea. So on the one hand, I got a D8 so that I could work legally. But when I went to immigration and they saw I wasn't making money, even though I was going to graduate school here, they totally treated me like a criminal. In hindsight, I should have been a criminal, and then they would have treated me nicely. So my recommendation to anybody who's married is to not get a D8 visa because then immigration won't know about what kind of money you're making.
What's a D8 visa?
A D8 visa is an investor visa. So that's where you bring in the 50 million won to Korea. So that's just my personal experience with immigration.
In this case, D7 is better, which is employee of the company. You can create the company, the employer. Like this.
Yeah, I have no idea about D7. It's irrelevant now because I'm married. So just if anybody's married, I would recommend do not get a D8 visa. Don't do it. You're just asking to be hassled.
Yes, first.
I know we're really short on time, and I want to ask you before we run out of time. The rates you gave us, this is for the national tax, right? Federal tax. Now, are there city, local, resident, group? Are there other types of tax?
Yes. There are some taxes, like excise tax or this alcohol tax, or most other taxes that I didn't cover it as main. It's all local taxes.
And how much do those add up to in general?
Oh, it's difficult to say. Yeah, it's difficult to say because depending on the business, it's
without alcohol.
Depends on your business type.
Right. So depending on the business type.
It's not a percentage of profits, or it's a percentage of profits depending on industry.
But for maybe like small consulting firms, I don't think you need to have budget over 200,000 per year.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
a
then-
very small amount.
Most likely we don't pay any of those initial
The other thing I hope you can cover before we finish is if we hire employees, can you explain how the tax works, like related to
Hire.
having staff? Like
Yeah.
pension or
Good,
health
good.
insurance
Right,
and
right,
things
yeah.
along that line?
And did you finish with saving corporate income tax?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you don't have to do it now, I just want, I hope you can cover it briefly before.
Then I'll cover this for 5 minutes and for the insurances for 5 minutes. Okay. I asked you to share some experience on this and then we fall in different topics. So to save the company taxes, I would say, yeah, for even I had lunch with my parents to just keep all the receipts. In case my company have a lot of profit, I can claim it. But of course, in the books released from tax office, they say business related. Okay, so just keep track of everything that could be.
Now, if a company is importing things, how does that work?
Yeah. Importing things. The sales I made domestically is my revenue, and the import part is my expense. And then from the net income, I need to apply.
As a company, how do I benefit from it? Do I have any tax deduction or any tax?
Yeah, so all the like duty receipts
Yes.
or those things needs to be kept track. Yeah, so that's one tip I want to give you. Even the personal expenses, do not throw it away. And the second thing is about the depreciation. If I buy a furniture for the company, can I expense it in the year I bought it, or do I have to do the depreciation?
Case by case.
Year after. Not the same year.
Depreciation for what? Amortization for what?
Yeah.
Furniture.
For furniture or structures, let's say that I did some renovation in my office, that can I expense it in a year, or is it depreciated for over a year? Or if I buy a company car? Actually, in principle, it says as long as the life of but usually it says over 3 million, you can depreciate it. You put it in the asset and depreciate it usually for 5 years. Yes.
Even if it's office or building, is the same rule?
If my renovation cost over 3 million, and then I can do the depreciation.
If you purchase an office,
Office.
you can depreciate.
Office is different. Office, the office building or the land, the depreciation is much longer.
How about for computers?
Yeah, computers. Yeah, computers. If I bought computer and other accessories together, right, and it cost over a certain amount, I can depreciate it.
Can or have to?
I can. Usually they say that over 3 million, I need to do the depreciation.
Right, okay.
So then, yeah, even for the company car, yeah, I bought 20 million Sonata, and then I can do the depreciation. But some clients ask, is lease a good method? Instead of buying a car, if I do the lease for BMW for 800,000 per month, is it tax beneficial? Many clients ask me. I think if you pay by lease, yeah, it could reduce the company net income, but you're paying a lot of money to the capital company. So I don't think it's very wise.
Is it possible if you register your company in your house, in your home, can you deduce part of,
Many people asked it, yeah. This is my house, yeah. This is how my house looks. I registered my office in the house. Can the rental expense be deducted as company expense?
Pay yourself rent. You pay yourself some rent.
The tax office, when there is important decision, they say instead of paper or form, what is reality? Tax office says that look at the reality. So let's say that this is my room, but I mostly use it as working only. This is 1/4 of my house, and if the landlord released this expense receipt separately, I would be happy. And then I would claim it as company expense. But it should be really, really reasonable.
So the landlord has to release it as what?
As a separately. The landlord released 3/4 of receipt as my
personal expense.
Yeah, right. While this has company expense. If that would be the case, they would be happy.
If there is a VAT to...
Yeah, could be. Yes, could be.
So I have to request that from the landlord?
And we're only talking about rent, we're not talking about the utilities or the furniture, or
yeah, that could be also by this rate. So I'm giving you some of the basic tips, right?
Right.
Sorry, one more. Complicated to make it. And if you pay Chansei, what you can do?
Yeah. So Chansei is actually not an expense. Right.
Even if you, I guess it's probably not. Even if you have you're renting a building in Chansei, it's still.
Yeah, still cannot be expense.
But if you buy it, what if you buy an office building?
Yep.
In the company name.
And then it's an asset of the company, not an expense. See, buying it. You're right.
But it depreciates.
Depreciated.
Right,
That's right.
depreciation.
Depreciate the hell out
I'm sorry for making all of you write down a lot.
Oh, it's great information.
Because sometimes I can't predict where my session will cover, so I cannot put everything in my textbook.
It's okay.
I don't think that the people who sit in the back can see this. So I said social insurances.
We can see it.
You can. Pension, medical insurance, unemployment insurance, and industrial disaster insurance. And how much burden is from the company, how much is from the employee, what is the total amount. Yeah. The base is my monthly average salary. I will going to write down the rate, and it's based on my monthly average salary, including bonus. Whatever it's named. I name it allowance, but actually, for me to calculate the insurances, everything is included.
You said based on your monthly salary?
Yeah, monthly average salary. They name it salary, but even bonus or allowances, all annualized. Pension rate is 4.5% from the company, and employee 4.5%, in total 9%. But pension has the ceiling. Pension has the ceiling.
Oh, it's top priority?
Yeah, top priority. So if even my salary goes 5 million to 10 million, it remains same. But other insurances do not have ceiling.
Pension broke.
Don't pay any attention to him. Keep going.
Yeah, but for some nationalities, pension does not have to be paid, right? I think you will be aware of it. Just like double taxation agreement, there is pension treaty between country to country. So not all of you have to pay pension, Korean pension. For medical insurances, 2.8% from the company, 2.8% from the employee, 5.6% in total. But actually, this is not very precise. This is 2.66 something. And then there is like long-term care. I just made it in one medical insurance. So it's about 2.8%. Unemployment insurance, the company pays a little bit more. Company pays 0.7%. Employee pays 0.45%. In total, 1.15%.
You've been doing this for a long time now, those things in your head.
This also applies to part-time employees?
Part-time employees, if they work over 60 hours per month, and then you need to pay these. Over 60 hours per month. Last, industrial disaster insurance. This is workman's compensation.
Okay.
Of this, I cannot write the rate because it depends on the industry to industry.
For foreign employees, the employee can choose not to pay either of the last two insurances.
Yeah, that's what I
And then the
mean.
company does not pay either.
Right.
And then it's the same if you're a corporation or a sole proprietor?
Right, this is same.
And you have to pay, if I'm paying my own salary, do I have to pay all these things?
If I'm the president, I don't pay unemployment insurance.
But medical you do.
Yeah, but the other things I need to do. Yeah. Industrial disaster insurance. Yeah, for some industry, let's say like accounting job, I cannot say it's very dangerous job, right? So in such cases, it's low, like 0.8%. For some construction job, we can say it's, yeah, so it could be even like 10%. But not is, employee does not pay any. So all is the company burden.
By law,
Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, just to understand your writing. I know you said it depends on industry to industry, and you were giving us a broad range of the rate. Now, is this just an example, or is that the maximum, the minimum and maximum to all industries?
Actually, my idea is a little bit outdated. I checked this rate a few years ago. I don't know 2010's rate.
Okay.
Yeah, so
But in general,
in
this
general,
is still minimum to maximum for all industries,
yes,
right?
usually.
Okay.
I didn't write one thing. The salary income tax, whose burden is it? All employees. Okay? The tax, the employee pays off. The company only withholds it. Okay, so that's all for my presentation. Thank you again. Okay, so thank you very much for enthusiastically listening to my class. On any further query, I think I will